Hey folks, welcome to another episode in the woods of the Woodland Life series, which I've not picked up for a while now. I am out here on a rainy day with Dad. He's basically caught some fish. We're going to cook up some fish on the fire. We haven't been out here together for a while, to be honest. And I'm just going to update you because there's lots of things to kind of update you on really since I did the last episode of the Woodland Life series. So I've got a fire going, some of the seasoned ash from the ash I had down a couple of years ago. Really well seasoned. It's getting some good coals now. Nice cup of Steak Detective hot chocolate, thanks Steve. Really good stuff. And yeah, trying to beat the rain really. We're going to get a hot bed of coals and cook some fish, like grill it and some other bits with it. We've got some chestnuts, English chestnuts as well, which we foraged. Going to roast those up. And yeah, just going to update you and come and join us on a nice relaxing afternoon here in the woods. Just a shame about the rain really. Autumn is coming. Autumn is pretty much here. It's lovely to see. Oh, right, fish is on, it's cooking away, potatoes are on. We didn't really thin cut them, did we? But they're part boiled, so
yeah,
they'll be fine. Yeah. We got some mulled wine. It's that time of year where me and Dad bust out the mulled wine on our little woodland trips.
And we're busting out conkers.
No,
chestnuts,
not.
yeah.
English chestnuts we foraged.
Picked up
I've
yesterday.
got some. They're quite good ones actually. You say they're small. They're quite.
Well, some of them are small this year, I found.
We've got a, where is it? Chestnut roasting pan here with a nice long handle. It's got some holes in it.
My grandfather used to put 4 splits in them. I just put one split in them, just so they don't go off with a bang and expand and go off.
That's why you need to split them.
Yeah, just one split in. So the way my granddad used to do it, and I've got to watch because this is Mike's bushcraft knife. He would put 4 splits like this, just near the top. The reason being, it lets the steam out if they get too hot. But also, you've now got 4 corners you can peel down, making them easier to peel. Because when I was about 8 years old, he got me on a production line, and the old boy was eating these about as fast as I was peeling them, putting them on his stove. He had an old log burner stove, and he used to cook them. But he also eats the raw ones as well. But that's why I know the white ones are the ones to get.
They were made of different stuff back then,
They
weren't
were,
they?
yeah.
Didn't have sensitive stomachs like us nowadays.
They weren't made of chipboard, these chestnuts like they are now. No, some of them like that's relatively small. It's all edible. But I found this year, I don't know, would it be the drought? Would it be the stress? Because a lot of our trees have been stressed this year. You know, some places have got a lot of rain. My well is down as low as I've ever seen it in the house.
Yeah.
I know we got rain today, I know we have, but generally...
It was a dry summer.
Yeah, a dry summer, the rivers are pretty low, and I'm wondering, is that what's stressing the trees?
Lay that fish on the coals.
Yeah, they're starting to flake. You should see the juices coming out of it.
Okay, let's turn.
Bubbling and dripping.
It's hot enough then.
I think so.
So while the food's cooking, I thought I'd just update you on what's been happening in the woods in my woodland over the summer, and some certain things that I've lost really. Well, plants, trees. We had another really dry summer, and towards I think it was spring, I actually put some water collection, a rain collection, old whiskey barrel on the back of the cabin to collect some of that water, purely because I knew I would need to water some of the saplings that I planted here in the woods from this year, earlier this year. Whenever it was a drought, I tried to come up here as much as possible to try and keep those trees alive, really. But unfortunately, I've lost a fair amount, probably nearly 50% of the trees. And I'm not sure yet whether that's down to the lack of water or actually potentially the lack of light from where I planted them. It might even have been a pest, I don't know. But for example, this one here I'll show you is a wild service tree that I planted. Might be able to pick it up on the camera, but essentially it's just a bare whip and it's totally dead. Died at the top. There's no buds, there's no leaves. It might come back next winter. There's no sign of deer eating it because it was up to about here on the tree guard, so it's not even, a deer can't even get in there. I just don't know what's done it. It's had loads of water, enough to, I'd say, survive, had a good enough root system on it and where I'd watered it. So I wonder if it just had a lack of light where it's so dense here in this part of the hazel. But what I don't get is that the hazel seems to grow fine. You know, even like this stump right here.
Look, it's in the exact same place, and yet it's kind of flourishing. It's growing off a cut tree. So I'm not sure why this wild service tree, which is in the exact same place, has totally sort of died, really. Oh, you can see it's just dead, crispy dead. So whether that's water, I don't know, but unfortunately I've lost that one, and I think I've lost these others as well. Yeah, that's dead. Lifeless, budless, nothing to it. Oh, something's knocked this over.
Ah, so this actually has one tiny leaf
Just there.
This one's quite interesting because it was dead up to here, so it either snapped off and died, or I don't know. But look at this new growth, this green coming up straight from here where it snapped, and there's actually small tiny buds coming back onto this one, so this might have survived, which again leads me to think, is it a light thing? There's a bit more light coming into this area where that big ash tree had fallen down. I don't know, guys, I really don't know. But there's the leaf, which is always a good sign. It's been nibbled a bit, but it's always a good sign. And that's a wild service tree, I believe. So buds and leaves are good.
Those of you who know your trees, you might be able to see this, but there's actually like white fluff all along the stem, which I'm not sure what that is. You can just about make it out in the light there. It's all this white fluff. Spiderwebs potentially, I don't know.
Here's a really interesting one. This is a red oak, and I wanted to diversify some of the trees in this woodland purely because of the way the climate is generally the trend in warming climates here in the UK and around the world. I think it's better to have a bit of a diversity of trees in the woodland in case any pest diseases or hot dry spells kill off one particular species, then others can potentially survive. This is interesting. So this is a red oak, and I didn't plant this with any tree guard. I wanted to see, would the deer really go for it, and the answer is yes. Deer or rabbit have absolutely, I think it's more rabbit, have stripped the bark off here. But what's incredible is actually all the buds are dead from there up, but right below at the stump is some new growth coming through, which is awesome to see. And maybe I will put a guard on this just to get this oak, because this is surrounded by big ash trees in this plot. I say big, mature ash trees, which are all going to come down due to ash dieback. So this should get lots of light.
I do like this little thing that stops it
It's good, isn't it?
falling apart. Well, yeah, it does actually, yeah. I'll drop that round there. Wow, that's hot. Take a look at it.
Oh, it looks perfect, Dad.
Oh, it's just breaking up. But...
Yeah, that looks really good.
And I say I've taken all the scales off it. Probably better off with a knife and fork, to be honest. I know some people. I know I can smell it.
It smells lovely, that.
That does smell like fish, doesn't it?
It is a fish.
Now that is actually cooked.
That's cooked really well.
But
That's our first time using that sort of fish grill, so
well, that's the first time on that fire.
true, on coals.
So we're going to take some off. I'll give you the big potatoes because you've been doing most of the watching.
It's a very English spread, that, with a little checkered towel under it.
I thought that. I did think it's sort of 1920s. Wasn't it?
Yeah, with the mulled wine as well, and the beach chairs.
And we've got the parsley sauce. A very, very slight problem with it.
What's that?
It's going to be a metal, might be.
Do you want the glove? You're going to run it.
It's bubbling. We just tip it on the side. Then you can have it on your potatoes or whatever you want.
Yeah.
My goodness me.
And fresh fish.
It's bushcraft gone mad, and fresh fish caught by our fair hands. Oh, there we are, sir.
Look at that.
Yes, sir, if they could leave a tip.
Thank you, good chap.
You leave a tip afterwards, it's very nice. Staff don't get paid much, you know.
Oh,
No,
we got.
Notice how suddenly went into Mr. Manry.
Yeah.
Chestnuts on the go.
Chestnuts are roasting. Yeah, I'll give them a shake. Yeah, they're roasting away. They'll give them about 15 minutes probably on that. Right. That fish is lovely.
I nearly bought tomato sauce, you know, and I thought, the wife said, look, we got some parsley sauce left over
All right.
from like last year.
I haven't had black bream in ages.
No, years, I'd say.
Yeah. It's good. It's really nice.
Probably one of the better fish
Yeah.
we've cooked, actually.
I'd say it is. Cheers, Dad. Cheers, guys, to autumn.
Yeah, thanks for following both shows. We
Yep.
appreciate it. Moving into the cold weather now.
We are cold weather. This is our traditional cold weather setup. Is we get the mulled wine out and the chestnuts. We're gearing up for basically the winter woodland management projects now, which is a lot of firewood stuff. I need to build a proper log store where I've got that tarp and all the planks underneath it. With the wind, as soon as the wind comes with rain, it just goes underneath the tarp and all the planks get wet. So I need something a much better roof to it. Tarp's been great, but also for my logs as well, I need to be able to store them somewhere dry. I do bring some into the cabin here actually and try and dry them, but if I put too many in there, I'm climbing over logs to get to tools. Yeah. So lots of projects this winter. We'll probably do some more hedge laying, won't we, Dad? I think.
Yeah, a bit of that. Yes.
A bit of boundary work. There'll be trees down. There's a lot of stuff to do over the winter months. I like it.
Nothing's going to get wasted with that ash tree. I mean, it's phenomenal the amounts come off it.
We're still going with the massive ash tree from 2 years ago. We're still only really using that, other than the oak that we did.
That tells you there's some heat. They are split. And actually, Dad, you're right with your granddad.
Yeah.
Look how easy that looks to peel now by splitting them. I've never done that before actually.
Yeah, well, otherwise it might pop off with a bang.
I've split them, but not like that.
And you can get hold of them. They're still hot, obviously, but yeah, that's good. It's hot enough, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So over the summer, I have done a little bit of work to adhere to the shed really, because obviously I want it to last. So the first up is the floor. One of the first upgrades I did in here was the floor itself. This is now basically this plastic kind of laminate, this tough plastic, almost click flooring, tongue and groove flooring, which I had in my kitchen at home, and we got our floor redone in the kitchen anyway. And I figured rather than be wasteful and just throw the floor tiles away, I'll bring them up here into the woods and use them in the cabin, because otherwise I get this happen down here. See where we've been coming in today with wet feet, and it's just soaking all the wood on the floor, and I'm bringing all the mud and the damp inside. And this is like, I don't know, that sort of OSB, just cheaper wood flooring. So just by, I'll let that, I've still got this section to do, but just by laying these down, it means I can just wipe the floor easy. I don't get the floor of the cabin wet at all. This is really easy to clean up. And it just makes life a lot easier, and then I've not wasted it as well. I've actually just recycled it straight from my kitchen at home. So that was something I did over the summer. So I power the lights with this little portable battery here. I bought this myself. I don't need to promote the brand or anything like that. So it's just a small one. It's really useful. It's a 600 watts, 268 watt hours. It can output, I believe that is. And yeah, it's just got one AC outlet, and it's really handy because I can just turn the lights on and off by just pressing this button. And it's just a really simple design. When I go to leave, I can turn the lights off, pull the plug out like this, take it home, or leave it in here. I'll probably take it home, charge it up, and to bring it back, put that on, and the lights come on. These lights only draw 15 watts, and it says on here at 99% that it will run these lights for nearly 14 and a half hours. So I'm only here if it's dark for a couple of hours for needing the light. So it's going to last weeks before I need to probably take it back to charge. It's got other things like a DC output, charging port, cigarette lighter. It's got 2 USB charging slots, a USB-C charging slot, and a wireless phone charging slot on the top. And it's also got some input if you want to charge it via solar. I can bring some portable solar panels here, and on a sunny day just grab it, plug the portable solar panels in and take them out to the edge of the woods where the sun is and charge it from there. So much easier. The power kit, the big power kit that was in here, I've actually taken home, and I'm going to install that in my workshop at the back of my garage. That is a whole nother series that if you want to follow is on my second YouTube channel called Life of Mike, where I do extra stuff on the woodland and my general life outside of TA Outdoors. So if you'd like to see the workshop series, then head on over there. That will be up really soon. But this is just so much better. It's portable, it's small. I built it on a little shelf here, and I've pinned all the lights in, and it's so much easier, so much easier. Also, for those wondering, these don't really get hot at all. They're such low wattage. They don't really get hot, and I've just pinned these in with some cable clips all the way along. I think what I prefer about these lights compared to that just one kind of wall light I had before is that wall light only shone light onto one side of the cabin, whereas these lights, having them like this, the entire cabin is lit from every wall, so it's really even lighting, and that's really surprised me actually. They weren't expensive, they were quite cheap. And the other thing I've added, as you can see, is boarding. I've boarded up all the top now. I've used all the old bits of OSB that I had, hence why it's patchy up there, but that's all boarded up now. I still got to do the edging just in these gaps here, and just put some kind of cornering edging all the way along there, fascia type stuff. But other than that, it's exactly the same as what it was. Little shelf I installed just so when it's raining and I'm waiting out the storm, I can actually see out in the woods and tell when the rain's finished, and then I can go out. Other than that, that's it, guys. There's not going to be too much extravagant stuff going on here. It is really just a woodland shelter, but it's dead handy. I can have all my tools in there and not worry about it. I've also started to board up all the sort of soffit and fascia. I'm trying to board up all under here. I've got bits to go there, but that's going to be done. Stop any birds nesting under there and keep the wind out. And the same for around here. I've got to still board up all under there. The water butt has been working really well. Obviously it's full now, where we've had so much rain. We have loads of water though, and this helped me out no end in the summer, so I was really pleased with that. And I've just put a tarp over any extra bits of wood that I want to keep dry. It's aged really well now. It's looking really nice, and I'm happy with it. So here I am at the oak tree that was felled by Ryan. It wasn't felled, it was dead, leaning up against this other oak tree just to my left here. And we did that really early on in year 1 of owning the woodlands. It was dying, it was already fallen against another tree, and Ryan really cleverly kind of chipped away at the tips until it fell on the ground. And what we did, which was really a good idea from Ryan, is that we actually let it fall on some raised pieces of the tip of the oak that he segmented up. We let that oak fall down so that it was raised off the ground. And what that meant is that oak then stayed really dry, and it didn't break down or rot as quick as it normally would, even though oak takes a long time to rot. And so as a result, I left it there for a year or two, just thinking, I must do something with it, because it wasn't on the ground as such, so it would have contributed more to biodiversity if it was on the ground rotting away. But it was kind of raised up, and I thought, I've got to do something with it. I just kept walking past it thinking something needs to be done with this oak. I can't just leave it there. And so I spoke to Ben, who I've done films with on the Woodland Life series. He's a few woodlands down from me, and he said, yeah, why don't we get the chainsaw mill out and we'll mill it up. And that's exactly what we've been doing, well, he's been doing for the last, when was that, a couple of weeks ago now. We came here, we had a full day, and yeah, we cut it into 3 sections. We're only limited by the length of the ladder that Ben has, and he brought out the sort of Alaskan chainsaw mill. Yeah, we've just been cutting 1-inch planks of oak, and I'm really pleased we did, because it's such good quality oak. The grain on it is amazing. I'll show you in a minute. And I've been storing that underneath the tarp, the original tarp, where all the ash planks were stored from the big ash tree. So it's yeah, it's been really handy. I just need to build something a bit more permanent that keeps them drier. But I hopefully will let that season now for a year. You know, it's recommended really for planks like anything like that to season is 1 year per inch thickness of plank, and we've gone for 1-inch thick planks. So in a year's time, next autumn, they'll be ready to use. I will probably get a rip saw, circular saw, just cut off the edges, maybe leave one edge waney, I don't know yet, but I will have some plans for that and do something with it. So I'm really looking forward to that, and that's going to season for the year. So actually behind the scenes there's been a lot of woodland management stuff going on. It's just been in bits and segments, and I've kind of let it build up. So now it's winter. Like I said with Dad, we're going to be doing some hedge laying and lots of new woodland management stuff as well. But the projects really sort of begin in the winter months when it's less bugs, and I like to let the woodland flourish in the summer and not touch it and not make an impact on it, just enjoy using it. And then in the winter, that's when I can have the time to actually look around and think, okay, maybe I'll start doing some of those jobs, do these bits here, you know, the odd camping trip and things like that. I think of all the trees that I planted last winter, I didn't plant loads because it was an experiment winter, and I wanted to see what would survive and what would cope in the climates that we have. And obviously, sadly, quite a few did die, but I'm learning lessons as I go. But the thing I'm most happy about is definitely these hedge laying species here. So this is blackthorn here to my left, which produces the slowberry, and then over here behind me, just over there in that section, is hawthorn. They're two really hardy British hedge laying species, or hedging species, that you can use to lay a hedge. So the reason why I planted them here is because if you can see, there's a big gap between this, what is that, field maple here, old field maple, and the hazel trees and the ash tree over there. There wasn't enough small trees for me to lay the hedge down, partially cut, fold over and let it grow. So I needed to fill in that gap to create the border, and to do that I used hawthorn and blackthorn, and I'm really pleased. They've grown really well. Interestingly, I've put a trail cam just next to them to see what would have a go at them, because originally I didn't put any tree guard on these whatsoever, any form of protection. I just planted them as they were. And what was really interesting is the deer, I've got footage of it, the deer, roe deer, came up to it. They did not touch the hawthorn, but they stripped and ate all of the blackthorn, which I thought was really interesting. I wonder if it's something in the hawthorn leaf that is maybe bitter for deer and they don't like it. The rabbits didn't touch it, nothing has touched it. So for those of you out there looking for hedging species that could be really hardy and resistant to pests and things and animals, maybe hawthorn would work for you. It's certainly working for me, and this has been about a year, coming up a year, I think, maybe over a year of having these here. So I did have to put tree guards on the blackthorn.
Beautiful view from here as well. I love this part of the woodland. It's a lovely view. All the trees in the distance are starting to go orange and reds.
Here we go, look. They cooked, Dad.
Yeah, peeling them.
Look at that. That's a cooked one. And they split open. Yeah, I can see what you mean, like that one split open nicely. And then this is what they look like when they're deshelled, and they taste yummy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dad, you hold that.
Normally put salt with them, and I don't know whether the salt is to enhance the flavour of the chestnut or to get rid of the taste, the slightly bitter taste of the husk. But my granddad had a little sauce with salt, and you dip it in and then take your chestnut.
Oh, they are good. You see why squirrels like them.
Well, they've got bigger teeth than we have, haven't they?
Yeah.
We have to have them cooked to soften them up for the human teeth. If you were surviving, you would get a load of these you could eat on.
You'd eat tons of these.
I think it's
lots of calories.
Is it a lot of protein or what? Not protein, is it?
Protein and carbohydrates, yeah. Like I say, all the woodland management stuff tends to happen in the winter months. But we'll do some more stuff, and we'll include it as much as possible for you guys to see. If you're interested, check out Dad's channel, TA Fishing. I'll put a link in the description below.
New section
yeah.
of random stuff.
Yeah, so Dad's got a new section. It's not just fishing, guys.
No.
If you like TA Outdoors, you'll probably really like it, because he's sort of midway through Dad's videos, the fishing episodes. Dad's got a whole like outdoor section of all sorts of stuff that goes on in Britain. You've been travelling around the country filming
Harley
different
Davidson
things.
motorbikes. I thought you'd listen. Royal Enfield, BSA, Norton Commandos, steam engines, bread baking,
Ploughing,
so much
ploughing
stuff.
matches,
Ploughing, horse ploughing.
Land Rover guys. Dad's got a whole
Land Rover,
segment
really
on,
good stuff
on
on
military Land Rovers
on
coming
military,
up. So yeah,
Bring-
check it out.
Now in Christmas, I'd say between sort of November and Christmas time, I'll be putting them up, might be on a midweek one, so don't think it's just a fishing show.
No,
The end of the
Watch
fishing
through,
show,
yeah.
I bet, is called Random Productions. Just pop over there, and you can, if you don't like fishing, fine, just skip through the fishing till you see Random Productions, and I'll put all the weird and wonderful stuff
Yeah.
that I find interesting.
it's good. It's really interesting.
At the end.
So if you like like I say, if you like the TA Outdoor stuff, I think you'll really like that segment on Dad's channel. So TA Fishing is his channel name, and I'll put a link in the description. If not, just type it into YouTube and you'll see it. And yeah, head on over and give him a subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, folks. The rain stopped, Dad. Typically,
Yeah.
as we're stopping
Now's the
filming,
time to get back.
the rain stopped. So yeah, we'll catch up with you guys soon, where there'll be more stuff to do here in the woods.
Sorry about the.
There's nothing left.
Sorry about chestnuts.
There's nothing left.
That's what you get when you talk too much. You've got to eat first and then talk.